Oh my God! Unbelievable! What a fight!
That was loud as shit. All right, let's make sure that OBS didn't fuck up my mic. Check, check. Ooh, that's loud as fuck. Check, check, check. All right, that's a little better. That's a little better, right? All right. What the fuck? All right, there we go. I think we're good now. Hold on, let me hear it. All right, that's way better. Okay. What is going on, everybody? Mario here, Infighting Exchange, Infighting FX. And oh boy, do we have an exciting day of combat sports action. That's right. Conor McGregor, Conor motherfucking Notorious One McGregor. And he's splitting the world of MMA. I want y'all to understand this, right? Like this entire, it's so crazy for, and oh man, I don't want to get into it because I'm gonna start ranting and raving, and this is why the channel keeps losing subs, is because I don't shut the fuck up on things. And so I'm not going to get into it, but I will say this: MMA community has always been a together community, right? And even though there are like those snarky MMA people, they don't really hold weight or like any sort of prestige or validation. Like in the world of wrestling, right? You have snarky commentators and people like Jim Cornette, right? Who I love, but I'm just saying he is a little bit snarky. And others, right? There's many others. I use his name because I think he wouldn't mind being referred to in that way. But it's like this thing where wrestling's so separated, and it's been separated for a very long time. Vince McMahon separated the sport of wrestling when he attacked the territory eras or territory era, and that provided wrestling fans with a bad guy, right? And so as the company grew, right, and the talent began to culminate in WWE, um, they got a hold of the commercial market in a way that no one else could. And so what we've seen over time is a drop off in the hardcore market as it relates to indie wrestling. Okay. But MMA's never had that problem. UFC's never had that problem. Champ, shout out Machine Gun Matt in the chat. Machine Gun Matt is going to be live tonight. I want you to know on Talking About Radio with Matt Garces, sorry. And he is going to be live covering McGregor. I'll be on with him, his co-host Justin, who I just find to be one of the most, oh man, he's like one of my favorite combat sports people. And that'd probably be surprising because like I watch everybody, and Brian Campbell is like a unknown mentor to me, and Mike Woods was an actual mentor to me. And so like I know all these people that are like great and cover sports, but it's like, dude, I'm sorry. Justin is just like understands, dude. He's like the rational combat sports fan. He's not even hardcore, by the way. Self-professed casual, right? And I'm not talking about like a two-tone casual, right? I'm gonna say this. I don't give a fuck. Y'all been watching that shit. Like I love Ness, right? And Ness, I think, or I saw a clip on the other day, where he talked about me on the show, and I love him for it. Thank you. You know, I've always loved the boxing voice. I'm not on there today because it just doesn't stimulate me. That sounded weird. Let's that was my DJ scratch sound. Let's go back. I love the boxing voice. I love Ness. I love the people that I met there. I love the people that still call in, that I know of, right? I don't know a lot of them now. But it's just not like the most stimulating place for debate, right? You can pay to have your voice heard. And the people that have the most money, or are willing to spend the most money, I should say, are the people who often have their voices propagated. Is that the word? No, that's not the word. Echoed into the stratosphere, right? These voices are stupid, right? These voices are nonsensical. These voices, while are, paid Patreon, so I get it, or people who pay to, be able to do those things and comment and have their comments on, or their calls on, they saturate the market with the most dumbest conversations, right? Like things that it's like, you're so wrong, you don't understand how the sport works. Justin's awesome. He's a great casual. Two-tone is kind of a whiny bitch. I'm not gonna lie. I don't have no problems with Tone. I know I made a video a while back, calling him out for insinuating that Crawford retired because he was taking steroids and what's his name died. That was crazy work, right? And I shouldn't have even done it. It's like, why do it? This guy's just chasing clicks, right? But that dude's on the boxing voice. Turkey was just on the boxing voice. The lack of what's the word? Fuck, I can't even think of it, dude. I'm just so high today. But the lack of like accountability, right? To have such a huge name on. And don't get me wrong, I know that Tone speaks for a certain demographic of casuals, but it's like, don't cry that you're stupid. Like I saw this post he had, I think it was today or yesterday or something like that, where he's like, this is gonna hurt people's feelings, but yeah, I'm a casual. What of it? I'm not one of you mad. And it's like, who's mad? Like, nobody's mad. I mean, frustrated you get a lot of shit wrong. Frustrated that your character persona is the only means for which you have any basis of being on the boxing voice, or and not the boxing voice, but like any sort of boxing program, right? I got no problem with casuals. I have a problem when casuals cry about hardcores. That's my problem, right? Like, then shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up and learn. Like, you are self-professed casual, then shut the fuck up and learn. Watch Steve Kim. He'll teach you a lot. You know who you should read? Read fightsatw.com. You will become a better fan in days, weeks maybe, if you start consuming the work of the great staff that exists there at fightsatw.com. Sure, I'm one of them, but you don't have to read my stuff. I'm not telling you to read. I'm not saying I could educate the masses of casuals. I mean, I could, but you'd have to just like keep watching the show, right? It's not like a thing where I'm going to like put on a classroom fucking projector for you. But I don't know. I saw that, made me mad, and I thought about Justin, and I said, you know what? Justin's a dude who just gets it right. You know what I mean? Like, he's not trying to clickbait. He's not trying to like suck you into some stupid narrative. Like, you can have a rational conversation with this guy and maybe, just maybe, learn something from him, because casuals have great perspectives, right? They're outside of the box that we all live in, right? We all live in this narrative that why am I still using this CM Punk Sami Zayn? I just realized that. And that's because I created one just for today. Yo, what the fuck? Okay. That's not what I wanted, but all right. Um, Okay, sorry. My overlay for some reason didn't come in like that. But anyway, we're gonna be live. Conor McGregor, Gable Stevens. Let's see who else is on the card. It's a really good card, even though I'm blanking on whoever else is on the card. Oh, shut the fuck up. We cover 3 big combat sports genres here, so eat a dick. Let me see. Okay, so Conor McGregor, Max Holloway. I'm gonna make my pick. I think Conor McGregor's gonna win. Here's what I'm gonna say. The rebranding of Conor McGregor has been a very strong narrative. Okay. There has been a very, very attempt. Oh yeah. You're here for it, Abe, and it's coming. Trust me, it's coming. You have to understand that this McGregor fight is like a saturation. Okay, this is not Conor McGregor, guys. Like, this is not the Conor McGregor that we've known, right? I mean, you're not going to like bring back the Jose Aldo guy. Nobody's expecting that. What we were asking ourselves is, can Conor McGregor be a serious athlete again in a sport that has grown and developed past what he had, past the time where he had captured his most fame, or like you could consider his peak, right? But since then, he's gone on a run of very demonstrative things outside of the ring and the cage. And so seeing him kind of polished up and presented in a way that, ignores the sexual misconduct stuff, and, the ways that it ignores the, rumors of being, just a super big drug addict. Again, I'm not saying that. I have not met Conor ever in my life. I've been on 2 media scrums with him on the phone, never got a question to ask him. So I'm not saying that. I'm telling you that in the world that I exist, right? Because I'm one of those like 4chan journalists, right? I wasn't like in 4chan hanging out with these guys. I was just there like seeing what the fuck was going on and being like, holy shit, this is crazy stuff. But I can tell you what you do get from places like Reddit is often the truth that doesn't get out there into the media, right? I think like I said, it's this thing where they're educating a bunch of fans that have just poured into the system, right? There are fans of the UFC today that will be watching McGregor fight that have actually never been a fan of him while he was active in the UFC. These are new fans made off of like what, the Paramount, I don't know, who cares, right? But they're new fans. Presenting this guy in a way that you can send him out there in front of ESPN, that you can send him out to get the Nike deal or whatever, right? And to make your brand the most commercial thing on the planet. That's the goal here for the UFC. That's the goal for Zuffa. That's the goal for TKO. I mean, you could argue Conor was like the last few years kind of in the business of trying to, get even with the sport of MMA, or specifically the brand of UFC, and not like attacking them specifically, because he's not, not going to ever like disrupt the bridge to the gold, right? To where you get to that side. But this whole thing he had been doing with fist fighting and the bare knuckle stuff, right? This whole narrative that he had with shit, I always forget his name. The homeboy that beat the Diaz brothers on the Netflix show fight. Fuck, what's his name? Oh God. You smoke too much, Mungia. You smoke too much. I don't know why I want to say Dennis, but I know it's not Dennis. Whatever. The bare knuckle guy. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Like, that whole thing was done in a way that they were trying to like push towards that fight, right? But he was never going to fight bare knuckle. Let's be honest. Like, only the UFC and TKO and this current era could put him in a position where he could do this. Here's a couple of, okay, look, I want to talk about this first real quick, because we're going to talk about the other stuff here in just a little bit. But, oh my God. And Matt, how good is Matt, guys? Just literally, this is exactly what I was about to bring up. And he literally just comments with this. So shout out, Matt. He's not even on, and he's on. Thoughts on RYAN-BENN, Shakur at the event? They teased some kind of announcement yesterday. Another Fury situation? Yes, 100%. Now, I'm not saying another Fury situation in the sense that I know what happened in the Fury AJ situation. I don't. I just have ears and eyes, guys. I just have ears and eyes, right? I'm looking at men who look completely clueless about what's supposed to happen and what was going to happen. Okay. That's what we saw with AJ and Fury. So if that's what you mean, then yes, it's 100% the same thing. How do you keep fucking doing this? How? Like, this makes me feel like Dana White is not even a fucking promoter. This makes it feel like Dana White is actually trying to make these fights worse. I got you, Abe. Only Abe's allowed to come on, and Machine Gun Matt. Shout out to everybody who just jumped on and just in time for the crash out. Listen, you have Ryan Garcia and Ben at the weigh-in, right? And you leak. Listen to me right now. I have no proof of this. Okay. I have no source that I could go on and tell you this is who said this to me, which makes me believe X, Y, and Z. But you know UFC leaked that, right? You know TKO or somebody leaked that. You know that, right? You know that, right? You know Dan Rayfeld doesn't get a hold of something like that, right? As it's been passed through the chains. You know, I wish that we could just like take a pause to break all this down so that I could explain to you what the current political environment is within boxing, because sides have been taken, whether you all know this or not. Sides have been taken. People are actually rooting for certain people to win and lose. Like, this is actually happening. This civil war that everybody kept talking about, it's happening. It's only going to get worse once the law is changed, once the Ali Act has been amended. And so as we stand right now, I'm here as a spectator of boxing, nothing more. Maybe, you know, I get paid a little bit to cover it at times, but at the end of the day, I do nothing more than watch. So I don't care who wins or loses. Here's what I don't want. I don't want a saturation of my market. I don't want some foreign entity to come into our sport and downgrade the very fights that would continue to keep this sport relevant for the next 10, 15, 50 years. Sorry, baby. She's mad because I was yelling. The problem is this, okay? Conor Benn, Ryan Garcia already exists as a propaganda-ish fight, right? These aren't the two best guys of a division. These aren't the two most prolific resumes in the sport of boxing, certainly not at 147 or 154. No, what these guys are very popular, very prolific, very polarizing. So what you can do with a Ryan Garcia and a Conor Benn is make $1 million fight out of them, right? What does the winner suggest? What are the stakes of this fight, right? Because all you're doing is, again, promoting the best version of Jake Paul. Let's be honest. That's what those guys represent. I mean, I'm not saying Conor Benn's not a great fighter. I'm saying that he was busted for a performance enhancer and had no legit excuse for it. That's what I'm saying. And to us who've been in this sport and understand what's been going on for the last 10, 15, 20 years, the stuff that Floyd Mayweather spoke about before the Pacquiao stuff was basically out in the open, when it was just innuendo, right? We've been here. We understand what that narrative means. Zuffa doesn't care about who's taking gear or what fighter is promoting racist ideology. They don't give a shit who's going to make us money. And Conor Benn and Ryan Garcia certainly answer that. And yet you have them on stage in a moment where you've purposely leaked to a very select few in the industry what is about to take place. And Vamoose, you don't get it done. You don't get it done. Why? Where is this ever been in the UFC or Dana White's playbook to try to announce a fight you don't have signed?
Yo.
Go ahead.
Yo, what's good, champ?
Oh, you know us, man. We're here and we're upset is what we are. We're upset. We're upset at seeing the same sort of irrational things come out. But what are your thoughts on all this, dude? I'm so interested in your take because you have for the last 2 years been really helping us understand like what this shift and what this change means and looks like without people getting too crazy on it, other than me. But what do you call? What do you say? What do you say to this? What do you say to what we've seen the last 48 hours and all this?
Yeah, it's interesting because there's there's a little bit of a battle here because on one hand, you probably have Oscar, you know, and some of his ego saying, "Nah, fuck that. I'm gonna wait until that shit passes, and then we'll announce it on my time, not on their time," type of
Mhm.
thing. And I get that from his position of being Ryan's promoter and them feeling like that they're the A side, which they are, and stuff. I get that part. However, this McGregor event is unique. All right. This is not the second fight McGregor is having in 2027. This is the first fight in a while. Anybody who knows Conor McGregor's name, whether through the beer, whether through the MMA, whether through whatever, is going to be tuned in to this event tonight. And probably were tuned in yesterday at the weigh-in. So, from a business perspective, why wouldn't you want to have that all sold up so that, things can get announced there? Because guess what? If that fight goes on that date, you're going up against Ohio State versus Texas.
Oh shit! I didn't even know that. Wow. So even from the side, hell yeah. Even from the aspect of like the Canelo stuff and all that, forget that. There are actual major contenders on that date.
Yes, which is going to be
Whoa.
on like a prime time. I think it's like a 7:30 or
I'm
something like that.
sure. I'm sure. That's a
Mm,
ABC. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, you want as many casuals, as many people to know about your event as possible, and this is the one to do it. But also you got to look at it on both ends. You don't know if he got slipped, the paperwork like yesterday and told, "Yo, you got 2 hours to figure it out and then bring it back to us." Can't work that
Ooh.
way either. You know what I
Yo.
mean?
Oh, I love it. Go ahead.
You can't work that way either
Okay.
because
Yeah, no.
because I'm not saying that Zuffa does that. I'm just saying in business in general, companies like to do shit like that. You know what I mean? Put the pressure on you because you know that it's worth doing it for that situation, but giving you not giving you enough time to really look into the weeds of it.
Yo,
To,
you're so right. And I want to clarify this. Abe didn't say that. I'm not saying that. However, there was a lawsuit that came out, and if you took the time to mitigate that lawsuit for yourself, you would find that many fighters and managers have said the UFC, specifically Dana White, has used that tactic in the past where it's like either you're signing this in within the next hour that's not leaving this office, or you're gone and we're not going to call you back. And so I'm not saying that you're not saying that, but at the end of the day, that is a tactic that, again, not just Zuffa, UFC, or Dana uses. It's done in business all the time, right?
and Turkey does it because who was it that said it? I think it was Crawford. Crawford was the one that when he said that he was in a room and then they came back and they was like, "Yo, here's the deal. You got like an hour to say yes or no," when he was about to fight Canelo. So those things happen. And listen, if that was the case and Oscar was on some, "Yo, I'm not trying to be rushed in this. Let me figure it out. Let me talk to my people. Let me make sure all the things that are supposed to be there are in there," then I can't blame him for that either. So it was probably a mixture of all that stuff that didn't happen. Now this is the other thing too. Excuse me. I don't know if it was Lance or it might have been Coppinger or somebody else, but so Ryan's last fight, and I hope I'm not misquoting them, but Ryan's last fight was the last like fighter part of the contract to Golden Boy.
Yes, I
And
remember you telling us that.
then he was like, and then they were like, the next couple of fights are gonna be under like King Rye Promotions Golden Boy type of thing, right? So I kind of think that's why like Ryan is able to be in that stage and people not trip about it because he's now more on the partner side than just the fighter side. Um, So that's why I don't think they made too much of a big deal of it. But yeah, I mean, I think the deal gets done. Unfortunately, I just don't think it gets announced tonight.
Do you think that there could be an effort of maybe gamesmanship from De La Hoya? Maybe like, we're going to get this done. I know we're going to get this done, but I ain't going to do it in a way that lets Dana, make this awesome kickoff thing on McGregor. I mean, it hurts his own fighter doing that. And yet the pettiness has gotten to a point where I could see that being the thing.
And that's what I'm saying. Like it a little bit of ego mixed in there. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. So I don't know, man. I think the deal gets done. It's just unfortunately it's not going to happen today.
Now, I want to ask you, off the heels of the Shakur stuff, right? This would have been even crazier. I mean, it just feels like an all-out blitz assault, almost exactly the way Dana had described on that MSNBC show or whatever it was, the new financial news show. Shakur, in a 72-hour window, or about 24 hours he did this, but it's been about 48 hours now, I should say. He was announced to have signed to Zuffa. Mike Hoppinger, a few other people were hot on that trail. It was something you had also, predicted like months ago that you thought was likely to happen. But we saw him go on Club Shay Shay, and we saw a backlash that I never thought we'd see with Shakur. Honestly, I thought he could have signed anywhere, and he was going to always keep that same fandom. But recognizing some of the people on X and IG who are diehard Shakur fans, they did not like the things that he said. Talk to us, Abe. How do you think the Shakur announcement rollout has gone? They went on ESPN together, although Dana butchered his name a few times, although so did Shannon Sharp when it came to Zuffa. What do you think about the rollout? What do you think about everything that's transpired? Where are we now? How does that Shakur signing look in the light of day?
Listen, what do they say? All heat is good heat.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
For a strong 24 to 30 hour cycle, it was all about Shakur, whether it was good or bad.
You're so good at this. My bad. Go ahead.
I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. So the rollout, yeah, I would say it's a success. What happens here? So I saw somebody put in their post. I can't remember what the account was. They said the 3 fights they thought he was going to have next are Valenzuela, the De Los Santos rematch, and then Richardson Hitchens at the end of the road on that third one. That looks like a decent lineup, to be honest with you. I would even throw in there Hammer Hands potentially. And it depends if Shakur's fighting at 147, which it looks like he more than likely will be. If not at 140. So if he goes 147, the Hammer Hands fight is there too. But this is for Zuffa, regardless of like if they overpaid or whatever the case may be, they have an American Olympian who happens to be one of the best fighters in the game and is under 30 years old on their staff as the premier fighter. It's not bad. That's not a bad way to start your inaugural year into boxing.
I agree with you fully. I think that this is a win for Shakur. Okay. Because the idea, and he came out on Club Shay Shay. It wasn't Club Shay Shay. I'm sorry. It was Shannon's after hour sports program thing with Ocho Cinco. And he said a lot of things, right? But the one thing he talked about was like, he's got his bag now, right? And he's happy he's got his bag. And he was saying how this is in so many people's faces, all his haters' faces that said his style was too boring to make money. And that's cap, right? He's listening to people, trolls on the internet who have no idea what they're talking about. Because the truth is, a young Black undefeated American is a financial, is something that can be financially viable, right? We've seen this in sports, specifically in boxing, where a fighter like a Floyd Mayweather has become the premier superstar, not in boxing, Maybe not even just in combat sports, but in sports in general. So that's the limit. Not the limit. I'm sorry. That's the ceiling we're talking about. So Shakur was wrong that whole time. Good for him for not listening. But that doesn't mean that a boxing oriented or boxing first fighter is necessarily great for Zuffa or a promotion or a network. This isn't the same thing. I'm just going to remind you because you know about this. So this is where I'm going with this. Guillermo Rigondeaux was a guy that a lot of people thought, oh my God, best amateur ever in boxing ever. Turning pro, everyone's got to have him. HBO's going to want him. And then what happened? They got a few fights from him and he stunk up the place, right? The Donaire fight was okay, but mostly it was a bunch of irrelevant shows. What would you say to people like Eddie Hearn who have come out just recently now, as of the announcement, and have said things like this? He's so effing boring. You can't come back to us when you finished your tantrum. I'm fighting Ryan. I'm fighting Devin. I'm fighting this, that. And the fans are confused. What Shakur Stevenson should be doing is getting off Twitter. So again, I ask you, where does Zuffa fall in this? And should they have any sort of reservations about the kind of style that Shakur utilizes?
All right, first, shout out to Mex. Yes, they don't have a 140, so Shakur, in theory, is going to be fighting 147. But I will say this, though.
Mex, great point.
They have shifted on that thought or thinking a little bit because supposedly Berlanga will be fighting at 168, which isn't one of the originals. So, we'll have to see. Unless that's changed and he's fighting at 175 now, that is different. So I can, it just depends on what they got worked out with Shakur. This is a thing. The thinking potentially could be that as Shakur goes up more in weight, that maybe he isn't moving as much. You know what I mean? Big difference between
definitely see that.
Fighting at 135 and fighting at 147. You know what I mean? So we saw a little bit of that at 140. Be interested in seeing what that looks like at 147. A lot heavier and walking around and stuff like that. So maybe they're banking on that, but they also banking on name recognition. Shakur Stevenson is a person that people know about, especially in the US. So it's a win for them, regardless.
You're right.
And he's going to draw other fighters there.
No,
other fighters are going to be like, other fighters are going to be like, oh man, Shakur's over there. It might be okay to be over there.
Nail on the head, nail on the effing head, bro. Because first of all, you were right. Like, I thought of the Shannon Sharp thing, and I thought, oh my God, he hurt himself with hardcores with this, and that's the group you don't want, right? Because it's like I'm a writer, right, and I have a specific following, obviously not as big as people like Coppinger and the like, but when I'm signed somewhere, I'm so expected to bring my leadership with me, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the same thing with Shakur. He's expected to bring a tangent of boxing fans. And if these boxing fans aren't vibing with them, then what does he do? But it doesn't matter because you can create new fans. And when you have Shannon Sharp and Shakur Stevenson going toe to toe with each other on a live, oh my gosh, that was everything, right? The casuals covered it. The hardcores covered it. It got everything. So you are absolutely right, Abe. I do want to ask you this though, right? I asked you about the Zuffa thing. I think you're right. It's more about matchmaking than anything else. That said, here's the one aspect that I keep looking at this whole thing from. We've seen people throw money at the sport, right? 50 Cent thought him and Floyd were going to run the world, and then they came out and he had to do his own thing, right? Because Floyd went with PBC and Al. We saw Jay-Z with his own, attempt, right? And he even signed Andre Ward. He signed, who else was it? Billy Dibb, was it? I don't remember. But, he had a couple of guys that was like, whoa, we've seen PBC do this, throw money at this stuff. What Zuffa's doing is not different. In fact, what's the same is the landscape for which boxing exists. We have tiers, right? So if you're a fighter who's fighting your local scene, you want to get to the main event. Once you get to the main event, you want to get to TV. Once you get to TV, you want to get to pay-per-view. Now in this new era, there's another tier called Netflix, right? And they'll just buy anything and give you millions of dollars for it. But at the end of the day, as it relates specifically to boxing, there is this final level, this boss level that you cannot get away from. And guys like Floyd Mayweather tried it, right, with his Mayweather promotions, and guys like Oscar succeeded with it. Remember, Golden Boy was the name of his alias as a boxer. So the heights that a boxer can get to in boxing are different from that of a UFC fighter, because at the end of the day, a boxer gets to the point where they realize, hey, I can make a bigger cut on this. It's just like you said with Ryan Garcia, right? Ryan Garcia was making X amount. Ryan Garcia is going to be making more now that he's able to be a partner. And when will Zuffa ever allow somebody to be a partner? So is that aspect of the boxing landscape too problematic for Zuffa? Or could the changes to the Muhammad Ali Act secure their ability to work around that kind of stuff?
Yeah. Listen, I think that it's a little difficult to say right now, because they're still in the stage where it's trial and error. I don't think that I think if you ask them, any of those executives, like in a serious conversation that isn't public, that they tell you that they're not ready to claim that they are taking over just yet. It's a process. And so right now, what you want to do is you want to build inventory first. You build inventory and then you spend selectively, versus, like at the time, the PBC and the NBC stuff, they were giving these crazy salaries to all the fighters, right, that were there. And, listen, God bless them. They made their money. What these guys are doing are they spending selectively while still making a good amount of money every fight card. So, they're paying whatever they're paying, which probably isn't as much, or it probably is more than what those guys were getting before, but not as much as what they could be spending. And then they'll sprinkle some money here and there on an Opataya, on a Stevenson, and spend kind of big in those areas so that they can lure guys in. So like if you look at it from a map perspective, right? They signed Opataya, Australia. They signed Shakur Stevenson, US. They signed Conor Benn, UK, right? So now the only thing that's left really is to sign somebody from Japan, or somebody from, like Abu Dhabi, something like that, that's real popular. And now you got almost all the corners of the world.
Damn, dude. This is like so systematic. Whenever you break it down for us, I realize that this is something much bigger than what my understanding of boxing has been till now, because it's almost been like the Wild Wild West. You know what it's almost been like? It's not territories, right? Like wrestling was, where it was like, oh, this is my space, this is your space. Maybe with the UK, but that's about it. But it really does feel like the territories where there's like no main brand. There's only who's fighting this week. And so if Zuffa can kind of put themselves in a position where they've not so unilaterally positioned themselves around the world, then they become the de facto brand. And it's like, that's playing 4D chess, right?
Yeah.
Everybody else has been trying to sign the biggest fighters and make the best fights. No one's ever thought about just coming in and just calling themselves the biggest and then trying to expand on that, which is exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, and don't forget Berlanga, right? So Berlanga represents the young Latin community, right? That kind of is into the combat sports space and all that other stuff. Like the demographic between like 18 and 25, like he represents that. And he gets a lot of traffic with that. And he's got the song now that is doing a lot of numbers. He's got the celebrities. So that brings that demographic. So they've got a lot of the map covered, bro. They've got it covered.
Yeah, no. You're absolutely right. Does it feel though that there may be an aspect to them that could be vulnerable in the boxing sense? Like, because this is what I'm saying. Look, I grew up in the boxing voice. I grew up reading you guys, right? For that was my education in this. Like, I didn't go to school to be a journalist. I read y'all's shit, and then I copied it, the structure and style, right? So I look at it and I look like, holy shit. The thing that I learned from the very beginning was matchmaking was not just a job. It wasn't just a role in a company. That is an education that you acquire by only going to the school of hard knocks, right? And when I look at the foundation of what they're creating, because you're right, they're going after stardom like Berlanga, names like Shakur, right? But if you don't have the ability to have that, you know what? I'm not gonna. Well, Bruce Trampler or whoever, or Golden Boys had a couple of really good ones, right? Misha a lot of the time, and so when you have those guys, you have sights on a future. Are there aspects that Zuffa may be more vulnerable at than the traditional boxing that could lead them astray?
Well, listen, they've made some acquisitions from people that have experience and brought them in there. Like they got Evan Korn, who was a longtime top ranked guy,
Yep, top
who
rank.
who also helped with the matchmaking stuff and just kind of learned from those guys over there.
Oh
So
wow, I didn't even know that.
yeah. He was kind of a little bit of like an understudy to them. And
Protege.
so
Wow. Okay.
yeah. Just kind of like picking their brain and kind of learning and
Sure.
stuff like that. And so, you know,
It's what smart people do.
they've made, some moves like that which have strengthened their foundation, I would say. And so yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's anywhere they're vulnerable right now. It's hard to say because listen, you always want to go and have when you're looking at something, you have to have a something to compare it with. Right now, Zuffa doesn't have anything to compare it with. The year one is not done. So you got to look at year one when it's done, and maybe like year two when it's done, seeing what that looks like on both ends, from where they started and where they were at that moment, and then make the comparative analysis and see where they're short at and where they're thriving at. It's kind of hard to say right now because they haven't been in the business that long.
Very well said. So I don't know how much longer you got with us. So I really just want to ask, make sure I get your takes. Will Ospreay is looking like he's going to face Omega. They take the belt on the same week. CM Punk comes back to win the WWE World Title from Sami Zayn. Who did it better? No. First of all, which thing had you more excited for which pay-per-view? Omega winning and looking forward to All In, or Punk winning and looking forward to SummerSlam?
That don't work for me, brother.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You already know.
9 vibes.
Listen, I started getting, throwback Kenny Omega videos on my feed on Instagram,
Hell yeah.
and I was just like, yeah, like, it's a shame that he didn't get to share the ring with some of the other WWE guys that had reached the mountaintop at that moment. But he deserves all this. I'm more excited for Ospreay and Kenny. Cody and CM Punk, sure. I think we all saw that coming. I'm not really thrilled about the tag team on Saturday Night's Main Event. Like, it just seems like it's the same thing, again. I don't know if people are excited about CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes. It just doesn't seem like it's, I don't know. I mean, they kind of alluded to like they've been there before, like, they've faced each other before and stuff like that. But I don't know. This beefed up CM Punk now. I don't know if.
Yo, we looking jack for real.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm excited about it. Will Ospreay is one of the most exciting wrestlers in the business, period. When he performs out there, and then you put Kenny Omega in there, who, when it comes to, we're not talking about a Dynamite, when it comes to these pay-per-views, he's gonna raise it all the way up. So, I mean, there's just more to anticipate there than there is with Punk and Cody Rhodes.
Bro, I agree so much. It almost felt like, because it's like when you have a program, it's because Triple H wants it, or Vince wants it, or Nick Khan, or whoever wants it, right? But that's not the reason they give you on TV, right? There's a story that they provide you. It almost felt like yesterday's SmackDown was a situation where they were like, well, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do it no matter what. So just go out there and we'll do it. And it was like, but could you maybe make it a little interesting? How about that, right? Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns did it.
But what did I tell you like almost a year ago? We're gonna the way they're heading towards is we're gonna see the same people every single week on the show. If you selling merch, if you get in traffic, you're gonna be on the show every week. And it could be this. That's why I like when Cody said, like, I'm tired of facing the same guy 10 times or whatever. Like, I understood that, because basically what he's saying is that there is no, bringing in some talent, some different talent to face them, because they want to keep the same folks on there, because that's what's making money right now until it doesn't make money, and then they move on to the next person.
Yeah, no, I agree. You're right. Let me ask you this though. If is Will and Omega a potential passing of the torch match? Do you think that, or do you think we're not there yet with it?
Did Omega sign a new deal?
I don't think so. No.
It could very well be, because remember that like his deal should have expired, I think, at the end of last year or in the fall of last year, but they tacked on all the months that he was gone. So this could very well be it. And this could be his last year. Who knows?
Yo, the final wrestling question I have for you, because you're the New York guy. How excited on a scale of 1 to 1,000 are you excited for Enzo and Big Cass to come back?
Wow. I'm thinking about this because the tag team division kind of sucks in WWE right now.
Very.
And although I want to see Montez Ford in as a single with a singles push already, I just feel like when Enzo and Cass, when they come back, it's gonna bring him right back into the tag team fold again, because they're not going to have enough of the big names to keep that interest there. But I would say a good, you said 1 to 1,000, like 800. I would say like a good 8. They're gonna pop.
Oh yeah,
ridiculous
ridiculous pop
when they come back. Can they maintain the pop, and can Enzo be maintained? Like, can he be kept in check? He's older now, understands the business more, but that doesn't mean that he's not a loose cannon when he wants to be.
Very well said. And that's kind of like his shtick, right? I'm so excited. I wish it could happen for Saturday Night Main Events. Madison Square Garden. It would be, I think, like the pop of pops, but I don't think Big Cass's contract. Wait, Big Cass contract.
That would make the most sense if they could do
by
that.
Far.
Huh?
By far, it would make the most sense. By far, I think.
That would make the most sense. You do it at the Garden. The people that are going to be at the Garden are people that have watched it for a long time. Not only new fans, but they're going to be older fans there, because it's just something about having a wrestling event at the Garden kind of means something more than just a wrestling event. So that would make the most sense. And you don't even have to have them in like a match. Maybe they just come out like right in the beginning of the program.
Yeah, I think that would be
kick off with the promo.
You have Logan Paul and the Vision out there, cutting a promo. Oh yeah, it would be. You know what? It would be dope if they use the Street Profits in it, right? Because like I remember when they at first came out, I think they did business with the Dudleys, and there was another tag team or singles person they were like kind of messing with, right? So you kind of like run that back. That would be dope for me. I'll be honest.
Is it gonna be weird though with Big Cass and and oh boy from commentary because he's with his girl.
Oh, nah, you know what? I don't think so because it's like you're big cast and you're like, oh wow, nobody remembers me for that because literally they went through their own stuff. So it's like kind of he's earned her by like trial by fire sort of thing, right? Because the media stuff. So I don't think so. But I mean, obviously, that's definitely something we want to know. Yeah, I don't know. I just think that they could very much use them right now. Enzo is
Yeah.
he's good, dude. And especially when you think about the stuff with Zillafat too, being said, him coming in, but there's a lot of influx, right? Tanahashi is coming in. Some Australian tag team that I was unfamiliar with, but a lot of debuts hitting.
Yeah, I mean, but you just have to wonder with all those new debuts, who's going to get cut.
Exactly. And there's names they're saying that are on that list of people that took pay cuts. You wonder if any hurt feelings may, or how it's perceived in the media may change what some guys would have done presented with it, right? So like if you were one of the first people and you say, oh, I'll do it, yeah, I don't care, but then now months later they're like, oh, look at you, you're not even good, blah blah blah, and all this hate and stupid stuff people say. Does that get to you? And then if you're a wrestler coming in now at being asked and you look at XYZ, I don't know. I mean, did Sheamus get cut? Did he leave because he didn't want to take a pay cut, or was it just what I mean? Like, we don't know, and I don't think we ever will, really.
And not only that, but look at, I mean, on a different note, NXT kind of seems a little gutted right now. Like, it seems like they're on the having to build back up like real fast because they don't have like clear stars on there.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're absolutely right. Oh man, I don't know. I'm excited though, for sure. I can't wait. It's just like so spread out. You got SummerSlam in 2 weeks, and then you got All In at the end of the month. So
yeah, and Saturday night's main event is next week.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Next week. You're right, man. And then you have AAA Mania,
September.
literally like, yeah, the month after. So yeah, there's a lot of big shows coming up. They're gonna have to do some big stuff. I think Rey Mysterio's got to be part of one of those nights.
Yeah,
in action.
And I think what Matt has said before, I mean, I think they're gonna pull the trigger on Dominic versus El Grande Americano. They're gonna have to.
I think they have to. Yeah, I think they have to. And especially because they're not doing anything really with him now. He's like cannon fodder for this Danhausen thing, right? He's wrestling JD McDonough. So it's like Dom is a side piece to that program.
Yeah. Now they're both gonna be in AAA tonight. So maybe something comes out of that. Maybe a story builds.
Oh, yeah. Wow. I didn't know. I knew him, El Grande. I saw that post you had. I knew he was going to be there, but I didn't know Dom was going to be there.
Yeah, the Dom's going to be there too. So maybe they start a story with that. So we'll see.
Hell yeah. Champ, did you have any other topics you wanted to crunch on before you go?
One thing I posted about Oshaki Foster and Navarrete. I think that's the one that's going to happen next for him. It's a really good fight because it'll be for the Ring Magazine title and for 3 titles.
Wow.
At 130.
Wow.
So, yeah, because Navarrete got WBO and IBF, I think. Yeah, I think.
Wow,
yeah.
Bro, great scoop, dude. Seriously, that's huge. I love that fight. I love that fight.
I do too. So hopefully they get it across the finish line. I mean, they're definitely discussing it right now. I know that the guy that fought Navarrete is like owed a rematch, but they're talking about maybe Loma fighting him if he does come back.
Oh wow.
So maybe that'll be enough for him to kind of pipe down a little bit if he's barking up. Let me see what else. What did you think about the PBC fights PBC on the Zone? That's for the rest of the year, and then they're obviously working on a different deal for the.
Yeah. Here's what I think. I want to say this, especially because you're on. I think that I think there's a big disconnect between what people understand when it comes to breaking stories, like hinting and innuending or giving innuendo about something isn't the same as putting like your name on it and saying this is what's going to happen. Several years ago, a guy who I love, Broadway Joel, right? He had made some claims about a fighter that Canelo was going to fight. And he had just said it, right? Just as his thinking or whatever. Nothing, nobody picked it up, nothing, right? Then he said that he had news that it was going to happen and it broke everywhere. All right. And it ended up not being true at all. And Broadway Joel took a huge hit in popularity for something that it could happen to all of us, right? We get a bad tip, and especially when somebody just wants you to put it out there so they could show you, look at all the people excited about this. That's the risk you take when you actually put your name on something, right? That's the risk you take. That's what it means to break something. That's first of all, that's all I wanted to say real quick about that. But I feel to a degree that it is, I hate putting it this way. I really do. I feel like it is a floating piece of debris from the slowly sinking vestule. As opposed to what it would have been 5 years ago, a thing to rejoice, a thing to bring boxing fans together, right? Boxing fans have been some of the most split, diverse fans, compared to wrestling, right? That's what we've always been. This story helps to bring us together a little bit, but it would have done a lot more 5 years ago. And 10 years ago, it could have, or maybe not 10 years ago, it was like, would have been HBO, but you know what I'm saying? It would have shifted possibly the entire landscape of boxing. So is it this monumental final piece to complete this awesome rejuvenation of boxing where fighters can fight anyone at any time and there is no such thing as across the street? Or is it a final gasp for the corpse waiting for the paramedics? I hate to put it so grim like that, but I couldn't think of another analogy. What do you think? How did you?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I know a lot of people are complaining about the fights that they like softly announced for PBC for the rest of the year kind of thing. But I think that's just, whatever the deal was to get them, active or whatever the case may be, until the end of the year. And then I think that we'll start seeing the fights that they really want to make, starting next year if that deal gets done. I saw Mex in there asking about Loma versus Mikey at 135. Listen, at the time that they were supposed to do it or they were going to do it, I always felt like Mikey was going to be the guy that beats him at that time, at that weight. And unfortunately, we didn't get to see it. But I thought at that time that Mikey would be the one to beat him.
That's how I felt too, or that's how I feel. He's presented me with this too.
And I was also mad that we didn't get Mikey versus Leonidas at 135 either.
Oh, that would have been so good. I still pick Mikey at that fight, but Leonidas, that's a tough style for him. Yeah, that's a really good one. I will say this: I would love, Abe, the idea to have like a little mini tournament, right? Like the Super Six we had, something that we could like bring this and make it like a big deal. Like, oh yeah, we got the final piece of the puzzle. So we're going to present to you this bantamweight tournament or this junior middleweight tournament, whatever, right? Whoever they want to put in. And it's like PBC, Matchroom, Golden Boy, Top Rank. I guess if Frank has somebody, but whatever, like, maybe everybody has an alternative that they can put in if somebody gets hurt, whatever. But just something to show, like a warfare within, right? Like something to kick it off. Any chance you think that would be something that they could do? Probably not, right?
Probably not. No, I don't think that they'll do that. But I think that the zone is going to be more like, they're going to be more upfront. Like we want, more quality fights, because I would not be surprised if they raise their prices. I mean, everybody does it. HBO, or not HBO, but ESPN Ultimate or whatever has done it. Paramount, I think, did it. Netflix has done it twice, I think, this year. They all end up raising their prices. So I'm assuming that they're going to raise their prices again in 2027. I hope not. And if they do, they have to deliver on those ultimate, those pay-per-views every month. They got to deliver a pay-per-view type of event. And now they'll have the inventory to do so. So I really hope that they do.
Hey, yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Before you go though, I do want to ask you this. You just reminded me. What did you think of the numbers for the TNT fight? Are they good? Are they bad? I mean, you have to give the context of the era we're in, right? What did you think? Tell us. It was a
Now,
bit over 800, right? Wasn't that what it was?
yeah. Now, you have to really look at the numbers because they also said there was a lot of combined language in there. Like it was TNT plus the zone numbers, right? But I will say this. Mike Woods told me a long time ago, if the numbers aren't worth bragging about, then they won't put them out. Or they'll put them out real quick and then it'll be a blip and that's it. The fact that TNT put out a press release and they did socials and stuff like that means that for them, they saw it as a win. Now, we may not look at it as a win from the outside looking in, but we also have to consider that TNT is network TV. So, did the advertisers that bought time into those commercial breaks or whatever the case may be, were they happy with their result? Because if they were, then it's a win for TNT. What if TNT went into it and was thinking that maybe they would do 200 or 300,000?
Yeah.
Now,
Love you to do 5.
Now 800,000 comes up and it's combined. That's a win for them.
Hell yeah.
It's a win for the zone as well, because although we don't know what the percentage breakdown is, what if 80% of that number was TNT and 20% was the zone? Now you have the potential of 80% being future the zone subscribers, potentially.
Oh, dude, good call. Very good call.
And then now they're going into this August 1st fight, which on paper is an excellent matchup. Lamont Roach versus William Cepeda. Like that's
Very
a
much so.
really good fight. So how does all that translate? Again, you have to have comparative things to do, right? So they're gonna look at this next one. If it does a big number, compare the two shows, see where they're lacking, and then continue to build from there. But remember that network TV operates in a different way than streaming platforms. They're more focused on the advertisers and all that, and seeing what they can get from that. So,
and I remember. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, if they put it out, it's because they were happy about it.
And I remember something you taught me a long time ago. The idea that you can have, and I'm just going to use these numbers, 800,000 is one thing, but context is everything, because that was a 20-something-year-old kid that put that number up. That was a 20-something-year-old kid who was under those bright lights and outperformed most pros who find themselves in a hole like that. Some stars have drowned in that kind of pressure, in that kind of context. So the fact that not only did this kid come back, but he used body work, right? And that's going to be for all the old school head boxing fans. They're going to look at him and be like, hey, I like this kid. Oh man, he reminds me of fill in the blank for whatever era they're from, right? And yet the young kids can vibe with them too. So yeah, I love the things TNT is doing. I love the things that Mason did. Shout out to him.
Yeah, and listen, I would also compare it to like AEW with TBS, right? And HBO Max. So they put up the number or whatever that's, 600, 700,000 or whatever for Dynamite. And then, whatever that's on HBO Max. But if those guys are happy with it, and they're making, their back end money on it, as far as the network side is concerned, then they're not tripping. It's only the people from the outside looking in that like, oh my gosh, that number ain't shit. Well, those guys are probably laughing all the way to the fucking bank.
Damn. I'm going to use that one for the next time when I get into a fight with According to Boxing. I'm going to use that one. No, shout out, Abe. I appreciate you, man. We're going to actually tap out here in just a second. We're going to be live from the McGregor fight. Man, appreciate you for real, for real. I know what Saturdays are like for you. I know how hard you work during the week. So for you to come by with this much boxing stuff to be able to talk about, honestly, thank you for real.
You already know what it is. FightsATW.com is the website. At AbeG718 on X, Instagram, at AbeG Boxing on YouTube.
Champ. Appreciate you.
Peace.
Talk to you next week.
All right.
Yo, Abe don't realize that I had already yelled at Two Tone about fights and told him to go, and then plugged fightsatw.com. Shit, what am I doing here? This is the one. Okay, let's do this. Rounded corners, I guess. Oh my god, this one is still fucked up. Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna just save this real quick so I can go to media assets and get my other thumbnail. Let's see, add here. I think it was this one. Let's do that. And that doesn't look like Shakur anymore. I can tell you that. Slop ass AI. Oh, it's the same one. God damn it. Well, that's broken now. Why is it 2? It's not supposed to be 2. Yeah, this is not how I wanted it to work. Oh, well, fuck it. All right. I'll fix it later. Fuck it. Anyway. So, just a few other topics we had real quick before we get out. I got maybe like 8 minutes left. We're going to be live for the McGregor fight tonight. I got, oh shit. Been on one already? Whoa, fuck. Let me see. Damn, I just had it on and I turned it off to search something and then I forgot to put it back. Excuse me. Hopefully they show the replay. That was round 1. 44 minutes and 44 seconds of round 1. Oh, let's see it. Let's see it right here. Okay, he lands a right hand stiff. This dude is done. And he doesn't take the extra beating on him. He does not lay any more hands on him. So there's the inside leg kick to penis. I meant penis. To penis. I'm sorry, I'm a 5-year-old. Since we're mentioning YouTubers, who is paying Boxing Ego to push out videos against Zuffa? I don't think anybody, honestly. I think Boxing Ego is just kind of like an old school guy, you know. A lot of the old school people don't really like Dana, bro. They don't like Zuffa. They don't trust him, you know. Boxing Ego's been around a long enough time that I'd imagine he is heard things about Dana and Zuffa and the UFC that he doesn't vibe with or doesn't think is good for boxing. So I don't think it's a matter of him being like paid specifically. I mean, it's the same thing with like Ness, right? And what happened with the Boxing Boys, right? Everybody swore Ness was getting paid by Eddie Hearn or DAZN or whatever to shill. But the truth is that to penis. But the truth is that you know, it's not even one hand washes the other. It's like all the fights were going to DAZN. Like, here's this platform. Like, that would be good for the business. Just because it's different from how you envision the business doesn't make Ness a shill, right? And so it's the same thing with Boxing Ego. There's a lot of guys who are very anti-Zuffa, but I don't try to hold it against them because I think sometimes I could come off as maybe anti-Zuffa, and I'm not. I'm not at all. I'm not anti-Dana White. I'm anti someone else coming into the sport, dividing it further. That's what I'm anti. And right now, that's all I can see Dana's doing. Now, I'm patient enough, and I think I don't want to say mature enough. That sounds weird. I think I have enough understanding of how the sport works that I can sit here and say, just like Abe did, right? And thank God I have mentors like Abe who, you know, are able to say, hey, look, take a breather, right? It's too early to say anything. Coca-Cola didn't become Coca-Cola like that, right? First, they had to take the cocaine out of the drink. No, I don't know if there was, there was cocaine in there. And so when you do that, you try to come along to be, no, I didn't see that. Where is it? Can you drop it in the link, please? I can't share comments from here on the show. So there's no link to the comments. So what you could do, you could do two things. One, you could just DM me from X or IG. And if not, then just place a link in the IG chat, and then I can grab it from there. But no, I did not see that. Therefore, I'm not going to comment on that. Wang Kong is fighting. Bro, she got that haircut from Supercuts. I don't know who she's trying to play. Man, they didn't even blend the sides, bro. It's fucked up. Wayne Khan couldn't even get that fade. Damn, Tracy Cortez, bro. She looks so pretty in real life, or not real life, but like in live videos. But on pictures, she looks like, yeah, I'm not gonna say it. Conor McGregor has actual dad hair now. Why is this keep fucking freezing? What is going on? Let me see. Let me see. Piñas. That's how it is. It's Pinas. All right. Not penis. Boxing Ego's still around. Yeah, Boxing Ego's there. He's just kind of like super biased. Let's just say that. I mean, I love Boxing Ego, bro. Shout out to Boxing Ego. But I mean, that's his product is for a specific group. People who like certain fights and fighters. And there's nothing wrong with that. Yes, I want to watch it live. Fucking duh. All right. UFC prelims have started, obviously. So we're going to get going here. Remember, we'll be live for the Conor McGregor fight. We'll be joining. Actually, I think if I can get to my parents' house fast enough and set up, I'll just go live before if Matt's not live. But if he is live, then we'll all be live together. So make sure that you're tapped in to Talking About Radio TBR. And make sure you are ready for the UFC. He's been around so long, yet still manages to be trash. Bill Haney came around. I got a raise. Nice. Shout out to the champ. Who said that? Said what? I have my problems with Southpaw, but at least he's giving Zuffa a fair shake on his channel. Kong fighting at UFC 304. Oh, is she? Wait, what? Kong fighting the UFC's 304. Oh, the Tracy ain't pretty, dog. She just comes off as an easy fuck. Dude, that is like so terrible for you to say about her. Wow. You have a daughter, Mex. Okay, think about your daughter. Jesus fucking Christ, Mex. I was just kidding. I don't know. No, that was hilarious. I'll be honest. I don't agree with the sentiment. Can we say that? I respect your right to opinion. I will never censor you on this program. Yet that was fucking wild, dog. I'm not gonna lie. Tracy on the hunt. Male fighters better run. Why do I fucking come on like if I'm fucking Ron Burgundy and I just read anything y'all put on the chat? What is a fucking matter with me? Why do I do that? Literally, I'm asking, why do I literally never read them, and then I just read them out loud. You know, in college, I actually entered a speed reading contest at the school, and I got like 3rd or 4th place. I don't remember. Yeah. And yet, nope, I have no idea how to read before I read. And my job as a father is to make sure they don't carry themselves like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ. I'm complaining about reading. Oh my God. I think I am the R word. I'm not going to lie, because we're telling the truth. No, I don't know that to be the case, my man. All right. I'm actually going for Tracy. There, I fucking said it. I like Tracy. All right. I think she is. Look, there's some people that come from my generation that would use the term 8th Street Latina. Now, I would never use that term. That's not who I am anymore. However, I'm from that generation, so I can't pretend I don't understand what you mean when you say it. That said, you're being a little harsh on Tracy. That's all I'm saying. God damn. And then they put her on the screen like that with that makeup, and you're like, holy shit. What channel are you going on tonight? Matt's. Well, we'll be live from mine too. We're gonna do a dual link. The McGregor fight's just too big to not do it, right? I wanted to go over some of the Shannon stuff before the fight. So that's why I was saying I'll probably come back, because we got to listen to the stuff Shakur said, right? I'm not mad at Zuffa, obviously, signing Shakur. That's what they should do. I'm not. Will it work out for them is a different question than do I want it to work? Do I want the sun to work? Yes. I want it to come out, because if it doesn't, then that, interrupts like the moon's phases and our fucking tidal waves and the way that plants grow and crops grow, and therefore the food that we make food, like cows and pigs and shit like that. But like I wouldn't give a shit like if like Target was still around tomorrow. Like, I wouldn't care. Why would I give a shit? Like, there are plenty other Walmart type stores and HEBs. So it's like, I don't know. It's a situation where I'm not willing to dude, this is the funniest thing that they do now, where they're walking out and the reporter's just on the side and they fucking cut her off. Like, what are y'all doing? And I know for a fact. I don't know for a fact. This is my truth. Somebody at TKO, some young kid or something, was like, have you seen the way they do it in the NBA? Have you seen all the memes and the GIFs and the GIFs that are made from athletes hobnobbing with the sideline reporters? And because now WWE does it, right? They had a fucking PBR show the other day, and the dude was in the fucking thing, like right before they were about to cut it loose, and he just stayed in the arena. I'm like, you're not a circus clown, or what are they called? A rodeo clown. Like, you have a camera. You shouldn't be in this very dangerous situation, but whatever. I'm not saying this is dangerous. I'm just saying it's fucking stupid. Now, here's my problem, right? I love me some Uriah Faber. There, I fucking said it. Yep, I love the butt chin. I don't know what it is. I just think first of all, he's a great fighter. That's first of all. Second of all, the dude surfs and does no-gi jiu-jitsu or gi jiu-jitsu tournaments. Like, tell me who's fucking the coolest dude in the UFC. I think it's the guy that surfs and does gi Brazilian jiu-jitsu tournaments, right? Let me know. I want to talk to Shannon stuff too. Yeah, I'm gonna come right back. I just gotta go set up at my parents'. You can like Tracy all you want. She still is what she is. I'm sorry. I'm looking at her right now, and she looks like she could be one of my cousins. And shout out to her. Are they doing a bad job of, like, AIing her image? Yes. But remember, this is the same company that brought you Minnesota. He was big enough to force UFC to acknowledge him and put his fight with Aldo on pay-per-view. I mean, that was already going to happen, though. We'll have to. We all have a cousin who's a whore, Mario. Jesus fuck. Oh my god. Jesus shit. Oh fuck. This is why I'll never get press passes from infighting. I want y'all to understand that. I want you to understand y'all are the reason that I don't even apply for press passes with my own shit anymore. Why would I? Why would I? Mex comes on and says wild shit like that. And what you think you think UFC's PR department is just fucking knocking down my door to let me and my wild ass community inside? No, not at all. You people are savages. But I love you. It was going to be on pay-per-view, remember? It was a regular WC fight, and the UFC went out of their way to broadcast it. That did happen. You're right. You're right. That did happen. It was for the WEC belt, and UFC basically, yeah, you're all right. I have that DVD, by the way. Where is it? You can't see it, but I have a Uriah Faber fig right here. Y'all can't see it though, because it's like over here behind the TV thing. But he is hitting a title heavyweight back. So Dana White can smack his bitch, but we can't call Tracy a white. I'm not gonna do it, dude. I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna let the fucking spell correct keep my back. Spell check got my back. Yeah, no, I don't know why they would be so mad at you calling her a white. Maybe because she's Mexican, maybe, but maybe not. Who knows? All I'll say is that, you know, yes, you're right. Dana should not have hit his wife. And no one should refute your right to call Tracy white if you believe she's white. I don't think she's white, but I don't know. Yeah, it had Rogan and everybody. They just referred to it all night as the promotion. No, they didn't. Did they? That's not true. Because they own it, right? Didn't they? They owned it. They owned it, didn't they? Yeah, they owned it. Our cousin is named Uriah. Can you guess why? Because he's fucking cool. Because he slays pussy. Why did I say that? Oh my god. I'm almost 40. Why did I say that? That was embarrassing. I'm not gonna lie. That felt terrible. You know what? Not gonna say that word anymore. Feels like I can't say it anymore. Not without sounding like a rational human being. No, this was before they bought out WC. Are you sure, dude? Are you fucking sure about this? I want to say you're wrong. I really do. I can't. Here's what I'll say. You have a much better memory than I do. I'll acknowledge that. You've been right more times without checking ChatGPT in our relationship over the last, damn, has it been almost 10 years now? Fuck, dude, we've been friends for a long time. So I'll admit that. I definitely feel like you could be right. But nah, that's not how I remember it, champ. I remember they owned WC like right after the Uriah Faber and Jens Pulver fight. They did the second one. I thought they bought him after that. No? Didn't they buy him after that? Because they had the same promoters, dude. Like, I mean, not the same promoter, the same sponsors. They had the same sponsors, UFC and WC, every fucking week. Also, they were on the same channels at the same time. So you're saying WC had a separate deal than the UFC to show old fights of both on Speed? What was it? Dude, I'll Google it, but here's the thing. I believe you. I'm not even saying you're wrong. I'm just saying this is what I remember. But I also remember more clearly and more recently, you have been right at these moments where I feel like that's not how I remember the timeline. But I'm not saying I'm wrong. I mean, I'm not saying I'm right. Okay, so when we come back, we'll go over the Shannon stuff and what Shakur said. Obviously, Shakur Stevenson is there is a way you could look at both of them. I appreciate Abe coming on and really speaking to facts, right? We could say that the Shannon Sharp wasn't the best look for Shakur, but can we say that it wasn't helpful for his branding? Can we say that it didn't help Zuffa push a narrative far above? We'll watch Tracy before we get out of here. Wang is just, oh shit, she just took a hard right hand though. Wang is like very long, very tall, and it's hard for Tracy to close the distance just like she did. Damn. Oh fuck, they're just throwing, bro. WC was on speed or fuel. UFC was on spike still. Oh, you're right. It was on spike. Good call. Damn, you have a fucking memory. You're crazy, dude. That's crazy. Faber Aldo was April in the merger, happened in October. Holy shit. I know that is true because I watched Aldo Faber. We had a softball tournament. We were in the champion. No. We were in the tournament to play for the championship. And that night we had to play twice to make it to the finals to come back 2 days later and play the other finalists in the loser bracket. And so we won our first match and it lined up perfect where we got to see the main event live before we had to go back out and play. And yeah, it was Halloween. The clubhouse that got demolished at some point. But the clubhouse at the time at the softball field was decorated for Halloween. I remember that very, very specifically now. We all just ate bowls full of candy and drank beer on the night of Aldo Faber. It was the only WEC pay-per-view ever, and it wasn't because of Aldo, although he fucking obliterated Faber's leg. Oh, man, he turned that shit into dog meat, bro, or into fucking hamburger meat. Yo, I'll never forget that shit. He just chopped that dude's fucking leg down. Always wondered if he did that because he thought he would be out wrestled and he knew that he couldn't allow Uriah Faber to be able to plant on that leg for takedowns or sprawls too. Or I mean, I guess it wouldn't have mattered. But yeah, that was a very interesting fight. Damn, Cortez's eyes already open. I like when they put hearts in their head. Matt, if you're still watching, here's the bet. AJ versus Fury. You got Fury. I got AJ. If I lose, I'll shave the mustache. I'll shave the beard. I'll cut the man bun. If you lose, you have to put a heart. You have to put an eye and then in a heart. And then on the other side, Drake's name in braids. There, the bet's just been laid down. Was Faber ever a champion? Just in WEC, right? Yes, just in WEC. It's kind of like shitty the way that things unfolded, right? He helped launch the smaller guys division, right? Before that, UFC only ever had lightweight. Guys like BJ Penn and Sean Shirk and Matt Hughes were like the smallest guys that ever, made a payday in the UFC before that. And then here comes Uriah Faber, Jens Pulver, Aoki also is a very big name from the little guy divisions that fought like roughly bantamweight to featherweight. But the thing that separates Uriah Faber from the rest of them is that his peak in popularity coincided with this transfer over to UFC and then them adopting the weight classes. And that kept him inactive for a little bit. It kept him unsure of where the future was. I mean, he knew he was going to fight again, but it's like, I don't know. I mean, could Michael Jordan have been Michael Jordan if he played in the era where the AWA and the NBA merged? Wait, was it the AWA? Whatever, before the NBA. But when the merger happened in basketball, could Michael Jordan or LeBron James could they have rose to the greatness levels that we saw with that kind of transition in place. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But I know that Uriah Faber was definitely a victim of that. Oh, shit. Yo, Tracy got put on her back. One time we were walking home from school and we had turned the corner. We were going to my grandma's house and we saw my cousin on the ground and he was getting his shoes stolen and he was kicking like that. We had ran to go try to save him, but they had already taken his shoes. Tracy, I'm not going to say it. Never mind. Because then you're going to talk shit. Tracy just doesn't have another level, I don't think. Oh, she almost swept her leg with that one. All right, we got to get out of here. Although I'd love to see Matt lose that bet. I went in. I got the big. Oh, no, you don't. You're picking that big dosser. Wow. She has a knee level. Damn, them leg strikes are 20-2 in Wang's favor. Yeah, that left leg is gone. How crazy was it, Mex, that we were talking about the Uriah Faber Aldo fight, and now a very similar fight script is taking place between Cortez and Wang. Oh, and a big left hand from Wang as she whips it out. She's got the longer reach, so she's not throwing hooks with the shoulder and the hip, right? She's throwing them out because she knows she can reach. So she's clipping her with this shot. And normally, like in boxing, like if I was coaching someone in boxing, I would tell them, stop doing that immediately, right? And then I bring them back and do pad work, hold it right here so they could get used to bringing it over, right? Opening it up, but never out here. But in MMA, though, I can say the gloves work in a certain way that allow you to make more out of those stiff-armed hooks or those wide rights. Tracy usually does well with Wangs. You know, I might as well turn my things on for Twitch where they just are read out loud if I'm just going to keep reading them myself. Because the worst part of this is like now there's video and audio of me saying these things that could easily be clipped into me saying these things, even though I'm reading y'all's terrible, terrible, terrible chats that are very, very inappropriate. Oh, what happened? She got poked in the eye? I didn't see what happened. Hey, fuck. Ugh. I guess you're right, dude. Because they're definitely going to come after this show. Oh my God, I keep getting the chills. Yeah. Did y'all see that thing on the Titanic? They did like a recreation of it. I was watching it, but it was like, it's not that it was boring, but it was because I saw the Ninja Turtles Mortal Kombat AI thing that went viral. Did y'all see that? That was fucking crazy, dude. It wasn't like the best, right? Because it's like you do these like big action shots, and it's like as soon as you reset the video, like or the shot, as soon as you change the frame, like everything else is different. So like the continuity, like there's a scene where the floor opens up and splits, and they're like this far from each other. They're literally like it's like a 2-inch jump. And they're like, Donnie. And he's like, Mikey. And it's like, the hell, just fucking jump 2 feet. What are you doing here? And then like the next shot, you see them and they're like miles apart, and or not miles, but they're like, pretty far apart. You're like, the hell, that's not what we just saw. Hey, random thought I meant to ask, but I would rather hear your verbal reaction. Uh-oh. Now I know not to click the next one. Ooh, nice right hand on the wang. Let me see. I'll look it up. Why is Ireland getting why are they is it destruction? Y'all saw the it's gay to wear a a vest. It's like, what are you wearing right there? Is that supposed to be a bulletproof vest? You think you're Charlie Kirk and shit? You fighting Conor McGregor? This ain't even the rest of my night. I don't know if it can get any more pathetic than this. Conor McGregor posing with his 2 fake UFC belts to a half-empty crowd at UFC 329. Half empty? Oh shit. I don't know if it's half empty, but it is empty, or it's empty-ish. There's no doubt in the world fans have forgotten about him and his star power has diminished. I'm very surprised that MMA Joey is still on this. I'm not saying he's wrong. It's just like, damn, bro, you've been talking this shit for a while now, champ. Like, you definitely don't like Connor, and that's cool. It's not my business. I'm just saying, you definitely don't like Connor. Let's see. Everybody see that? You know, if you're in my community, you get access to everything. Just saying. Just saying. Wait, let me see. Where are we at? Do you think Charlie was knocking down Candace when they were younger? Like, I almost feel like that's what she's gone so batshit about him. No, I don't think so. I think that Candace is I don't want to say she's a grifter. She's she's a internet personality, right? And she needs her big thing. For a while, her big thing was Macron's wife. And then that turned into like her being like targeted, right, by like foreign and government agencies. I think what's happened to Charlie Kirk is really, really sad. Not that I was a big fan of Charlie Kirk, nor do I think that he was like this guy that was bringing people together. But obviously, I don't want anybody to be murdered. And obviously, I feel bad for him in terms of his legacy because he's just being utilized by certain people to be like like a reason to fight for their cause. Like, I am not happy with our relationship with Israel right now, right? That has nothing to do with Jewish people. I have not at all. So it sucks that you even have to say that now. That you have to say, oh, I don't want a bunch of kids to fucking die, but I'm not an anti-Semite. Like, what? Or an anti-Semite. I just think that she needs a thing, and that's a thing that you can do. It's kind of gross. Actually, it's super gross. But what can you do, man? It's the way of the world. I mean, she married a white man who I've heard has a striking resemblance to my boy Charlie. May he R.I.P. Alex, Jesus Christ, Alex says Candace is going to. I don't know if she's going to hell. I mean, here's the thing: if she's going to hell, Alex, then a very healthy portion of the GOP and Republican side of the media is going right with them, right? I mean, everyone at Fox News who lied about the Dominion stuff and had to pay X amount of money, right? The people that lied about the Hunter Biden stuff. I mean, yes, plenty was true about that, but there was also stuff that they just made up, like, you know, the Burisma stuff and some of those aspects. But I just think that I think Charlie's last few correspondences, he never thought would be like major media shit, right? Like he never thought that these, like how many of us have sent texts over the last 3 days that we think, oh shit, could this one day be like used to either interpret or misinterpret like my stance and separate the right wing of the GOP and smash it into fragmented pieces? Because that's what's going on. Charlie Kirk was used to unite the right, and now his name is being used to dismantle it. You know, and for better or for worse, I don't know, but I'm just saying it's, you know. Alex, do you think Charlie boned her? No. Watch the video from the angle of Max's metas. Oh, yeah. I just realized he was wearing metas. That's a Max AEW crowd Connor was in front of. Was it? Nah, that's hate. Motherfuckers is lying. We all tuning in for the Mac tonight. Yeah, no. I agree. Well, okay, but here's the thing though. I don't know if it's cap or not. I'm not saying that he's not a star, right? Jesus. But this stuff doesn't help. Because believe it or not, there are fans out there who, you know, do consume, they don't give enough shit about sports to like have to consume anything.
Good luck tomorrow.
Connor Ben looks so out of place, looking like a British black MJF. The fuck? Yo, that was crazy, bro. Y'all can't convince me Charlie ain't hit that before. I don't know why though, because it feels like more you're saying that because because it feels like you're saying that because that's not better, but whatever. It feels like you're saying that based on the narrative now that he's been unable to control. Like to believe that would mean that either you had an inkling or a feeling before he died or was murdered, I should say, sorry. Because to say that you feel it now only after he's been murdered is to suggest that some sort of propaganda has infiltrated your rationale system and you're seeing data points that you're being intended to see. I don't know if that made sense or not. Joseph, you're being disrespectful. Erica gets the most unwanted hate I've ever seen online. She deserves peace. Does she though, Alex? Like, I'm not saying a human being doesn't. Every human being does deserve peace. I don't know if she's gone out of her way to like find it, right? Like you don't just jump into the middle of, you know, an extremely volatile situation, right? And stand up and be like, no, he said I was in charge. He said I was in charge. Like if you've never seen Secession, you should watch Secession. Very good fight, by the way, by Wang. She controlled her the whole time. This was really like, once they fought 3 minutes, you knew she was going to win. Shout out to her though. She's being interviewed by Joe now. But the point I'm trying to make is this: like, if you're Erica Kirk, the idea that all you want to do is be left in peace to mourn your husband is just bullshit, right? Because you're out here, you're doing it in a way that you never did it before. So I'm not saying she doesn't get unnecessary hate. I don't believe there was this mass Israeli conspiracy to kill him, or unalive him, I should say, because I forgot we're on TikTok. Oh, no, we're not on TikTok anymore. So I can say kill. I don't know if there was this mass conspiracy to do that, right? I think that would entail a lot of different things that, I mean, first of all, the guy that did it fucking sent the fucking text saying he did it. Now, what I mean, of course, you could fake all that, and the conspiracy theorists have already come out to say a bunch of shit about whether it's real or not. All I'm saying is this: the narrative between Kirk and Candace worked in a very specific way, where Charlie would have stood as it relates to her now being part of the pariah of people that have been kicked out of the populist wing of the GOP, right? Your Megyn Kellys, your Tucker Carlsons, who might be the most populist or popular at least of them all, right? This is a guy who now constitutes left love. Like there are people on the left who are Tucker Carlson fans now because of his stance on Gaza and that of the Israel war. So it's like, would Charlie have sat here and listened to what Candace has said over the last? Would Candace have even said any of the stuff that has been said if Charlie wasn't unalived? I don't know. All I know is that this seems like a very convenient timeline for Candace and her conspiracy theories, right? And here's the thing, like, when has Candace ever been right? I'm not trying to be a dick. I don't hate Candace or I don't dislike her. I don't think she's news. I don't think she's a political mind. I think she's kind of like the TMZ version for the GOP political right. And, that's okay. Some people like that stuff. She's like Pierce Morgan, right? She's entertaining because politics aren't fun, right? How many of you seen any of the Destiny debates from his channel where he debated the most prolific defenders of the stolen election narrative and just made mincemeat out of them? See, and this is the problem, right? Like NPR and CBS, they did a joint thing together where they interviewed a bunch of people who now consider themselves ex-MAGA or ex-GOP, right? And you know what all these people had in common? Because they were different ages. They were male, they were female, they were Gen Zers, they were millennials, they were boomers, right? They had a diverse line of people. They had two things in common. They were former supporters of MAGA, and all of them broke out of their media space. You see, because that's the problem is people say, oh, I consume everything. I watch everything. No, you fucking don't. Shut up. Stop lying. Stop lying. You have kids. You have... Hello, Mackenzie.
Oh, hello, Mario.
I'm live.
Can I hang out with you and come by?
If you want, I was heading over there in about 10 minutes, 30 minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll be on my way just to hang out for a little bit, and then you can bring me back, I guess.
Okay. All right.
I'm with Dario, so and it's by his shop.
No problem. Okay. Love you. Bye. All right. I don't know what that was about, but so anyway, I don't even remember what I was talking about. Fuck. Smoking is not great. I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh well. I'm being honest. I know what a bitter side piece looks like and acts like, and that's been Candace. Yeah, but that's been Candace before that, though. So it's like, can we really use that as like a means of deciphering? I don't think so. Erica Haight is weird, but that's why I say Candace acts that way. She's been jealous of. Is it weird? What's weird about it? Here's the thing. I personally think it's gross, right? But I'm the only one out of all of us, and I'm talking about my community, right? Because I'm not afraid to call you guys out when I have to. All of y'all hated the idea of a woman president 3 years ago, 2 years ago. All of you hated the idea of a woman president 10 years ago. Now, don't get me wrong. I didn't think Hillary should have been the candidate. It certainly wasn't who I wanted to vote for. But the idea that women are somehow like not constantly mistreated on both the GOP side and the Democratic side, that's just you doing this, right? Because women get the most hate. Like I have a niece today who's 18 years old. And so over the last like 5 years, right, she's developed into this beautiful young lady. And one day she's going to be a beautiful woman. And by that time, I will guarantee she will have been sexually harassed at work or like made comments to or whatever. And she, like, it's nothing. Like women everywhere, girls in high school, middle school. Let me tell y'all something right now. All right. I don't want to say this story because there's a real person out there who I still not keep in touch with, but am familiar with on social media. When we were in college, I mean, we were in high school, we were at prom. This young, prominent girl who was one of the most popular people of our senior class was tricked into drinking urine at a prom party. And that was like sexual assault. Monday at school, and this is 2005, 2006, so you have to like, remember the context of it. Like everybody's making fun of it. Everybody's joking about it. It's this thing. They even gave her a nickname about it. Understand that would never have happened to a dude. Like a dude wouldn't have stood for that. They would have either gotten to a fight. They would have, like, something would have happened, right? But this girl just had to take it and had to take these stares and these questions and these innuendos. And this is the stuff that happens to our daughters. This is the stuff that happens to our niece. This is why that shit. This is why I don't fuck with like LA or Hollywood. Like, I don't think that shit's a good idea. How good of an idea is it to try to get this job as a Hollywood actress where only like 1% of people actually get, but like 80% of them get sexually assaulted at some point, right? I'm not going to play that game, bro. I'm not going to ever play that game. Like, I know women have it hard. I seen it. I got a mom, I got a niece, I got a wife, and I talk to these people, and they tell me these stories, and they're never a big deal. That's the thing, is y'all probably don't even realize how many women in y'all's lives and families over the last 50, 60 years, depending on how old they are, have been assaulted and not been able to say nothing. Like, they just didn't say nothing, right? So this idea that Erica gets hate is weird. It's not. It plays exactly into the narrative, right? And then let's talk about which side. And again, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a fucking Republican. Registered as one as 18. Made two big mistakes in voting for each side and capping for them. But that's broken, and I'm not that guy anymore. So I can tell you is that I could easily call both sides out for stuff. And when it comes to the women hate, that's easily on the GOP side of things, right? This narrative that women shouldn't vote, that's coming from Pete Hegseth's pasture, right? He said they shouldn't vote. Right? He wants household votes where the man has the final decree. So he's saying, oh, men and women shouldn't vote. It should be a family vote. But you're giving the ultimate vote to the man. So it's like, what the fuck does it matter if you're giving the kids a vote and a one household vote? Like, eat a dick. How about that? Also, that's retarded. You know why? Because Democrats and Republicans that are going to cheat the system will just, apply for separate housing and stuff like that, or send other people with other people to qualify them, right? Like, oh, my kids, they live with their aunt so-and-so and uncle so-and-so. So that's their family vote. And now we're going to split this one up into that one. It's like, dude, you're just setting up more ways for them to take advantage of the system. Conor Benn looks like a Cisco impersonator. Yo, he's been looking like a Cisco impersonator. I'm sorry. Conor Benn is kind of like a loser. I'm sorry. He just looks like a loser in all these situations, because he's like, he gives Berlanga vibes where it's like, you feel like you're a star before you're actually a star. You know what I mean? Oh no, I can find a group chat. I've said that for years that I thought she was Charlie's old piece. Oh, my bad, dude. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Now I'll take that. First of all, I wasn't talking directly to you, right? I never do that because I never try to put you in a box. I've known you for a long time. I know that your thoughts and your opinions, specifically politically, are very diverse. So I would never try to put you in a box. I do think that you can be, as we all are, victims of propaganda and biases. But yeah, I had no idea that was something you had been saying. So yeah, kudos to you, I guess. I don't know what to say. I've never seen anything other than them sharing the same sort of media tactics. And because you got to remember, like, this idea that they were anything comes from the idea that he's not here to defend himself. He's not here to say yes or no or otherwise. She was the one who started saying there was narratives you could interpret, right, about whether or not they were happy in their marriage. And like, that's a psychotic thing to do. Let me tell you, if I die and any of y'all come out and like, well, I don't know what was going on with him and his wife, eat a dick. I'm going to come back with the aliens and I'm going to fuck you up. I'm going to stick an orange up your ass. I swear to God, I will. Because like, what the fuck? You didn't know what was going on in my family? I didn't write to you, hey, me and so-and-so are having problems. I didn't write to you, hey, she wants a baby and I don't. I didn't write to you, hey, she's kind of telling me I should start, really laying off the Israel stuff. Like, it wasn't like that, right? So then why do we have to jump to this narrative that it is? And again, I'm not attacking Mex here at all. He has his reasons. He's never explained them to me. He's never had to. So I'm going to leave it at his word. That said, again, I don't see anything that makes me think that. Here's the thing. I haven't seen anything that would give me anything other than like a weird kind of like look at it. Like I don't see it as like a thing, right? I see it as a consistent data point that alludes to the same sort of principled characteristics that Candace Owens possesses, right? This is like part of the same media playbook she's always utilized. So to me, there would have to be other things implicating that, because the partnership between two media people can seem a bit personal. It can seem a bit not romantic. What's the word? Endearing? No, that's not it. Whatever. Because you're like two people working towards the same goal, and in their space, you're not just working towards the same goal as a business, but you have the same narratives, the same themes, and the same corporate pressures. So that's a lot to understand and feel, right? That's why a lot of people who get in trouble by hooking up at work get in trouble for hooking up at work. Everybody knows it's a bad idea now to shit where you eat. Yep. Everybody knows it's a bad idea, right? And yet people get caught all the time. People get in trouble all the time. I just watched this documentary last night. This rapper from Germany was like a big upcoming rapper, and he was going on tour with DMX, all this stuff. Bro, this guy ended up becoming like an ISIS recruiter, like a figure, like a main ISIS. He was the propaganda media wing for ISIS. All right. You could watch it on Showtime. I forgot what it's called, but you'll see it. It's like a dude with a puppet being like controlled and shit, kind of like how I got Shakur looking all crying out and shit. But this dude, they saw that he was in ISIS, and they saw that he was recruiting people, and he was trying to use leftist propaganda, or not leftist, Western propaganda. Like they would show like movies that portrayed Muslims or Arabs in a bad light, and then they would flip it and make the Muslims and the Arabs the good guys. So they would take shit from like Hurt Locker and like all these different movies, and like, I mean, y'all remember, if y'all are old enough, y'all know what I'm talking about. This is the time where ISIS was using like fucking Michael Bay production and shit, right? Kids were joining ISIS. Does anybody remember the 2010s like I do? Like, SNL made that skit where they were like dropping off your kid at college because it was like graduation time. And really, he was dropping off at the airport to join ISIS, because that was a whole narrative. You know what I mean? So it's like this thing where this woman who worked for the FBI was sent in to be his honeypot. So they knew who he was, right? He was like a good looking guy who went to school with like a lot of Westerners. So they thought that this blonde haired white German girl would be able to like honeypot him. And sure enough, it worked. He started like opening up to her, all this. But what ended up happening is she got fucking tricked. She didn't honeypot him. That was the attempt. I mean, yeah, she didn't honeypot him. He honeypotted her ass. She left the FBI without telling them and went to fucking Syria. Or I think she went to Turkey and snuck into Syria. This is at the height of the war. So this guy who used to be a rapper, who was supposed to go on tour with DMX, ends up becoming ISIS, having the FBI pull a honeypot operation on him. If you don't know what a honeypot operation is, basically like what they're saying Erica Kirk is. Like, obviously, I'm not saying that, and I don't believe that to be true. But the one of the big conspiracies is that Israel sent her over to be a honeypot, and basically got, Eric Kirk, Charlie Kirk to fall in line or whatever. Specifically with what the Jewish establishment wants. Again, I think these people are psychotic. I understand the difference between Israel and Jewish people. I do. And I respect Jewish people and their religion as much as I do Christianity, which is my own, or the religion that I come from. As much as I respect Muslims' religion, or Islam or Arabs' ability to respect their own version of God, right? I personally believe they're all talking about the same people. Now, the books absolutely present a different narrative, for a different kind of God, right? Some of their gods are like a little more spiteful or revengeful. Some of them are a little more fruitful. Some of them are a little more like, I don't know, they would be willing to like take bribes maybe. But at the end of the day, I think we're all worshiping the same person or being or entity. I just don't think it's a guy in a white coat. Oh no, I can find a group chat. Oh, my bad. Connor's crew ran a train. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. What the fuck is wrong with me? I'm not even asking what's wrong with Alex or Mex because they're just making the same jokes they always do. Why am I just keep reading these things? It's Jesus Christ. Okay. Why do I have this up for everybody else to read? Good Lord. I just want you to know that while Alex does have a wrench and so does Mex, their opinions and comments don't reflect that of Infighting FX. So if you are offended by anything, I apologize on their behalf, but just know that they're not going to apologize at all. Nah, she be catching wild ass heat, bro. That's a tough spot for anyone to be in. And frankly, the major players at Turning Point are at fault. They should have handled it better. But what does that mean, though? Handle it better could have mean not making her CEO, not putting her in charge. To say handling it better would mean to like do what the Democrats should have done with Biden dropping out. And that's having a sort of like open forum, right? I mean, these people all have a tiered group of individuals and investors that they answer to. So if there was ever going to be a problem, it's like, oh, what do he want? Do you want to just keep it in the Kirk family, or does Turning Point want to be this, massive thing? Women in all spaces have it hard. When you propagate to a political party that has a fundamental percentage of people who are of the belief that women shouldn't vote, women shouldn't hold office, women aren't leaders, women are too emotional to be in the workforce. These are things that are being said on the right. Okay, these are things that, and again, I know that those narratives don't represent the entire right, but you see how I'm not a fucking retard? You see how I don't just say, oh, you're a Dem? You want to cut off dicks? All dicks, bring all the dicks to cut off the Dem speaks. Like, no, that sounds fucking retarded, right? It sounds stupid as shit. So then why propagate it, right? Why go on with that narrative? Because I could go on with the narrative and say, oh, if you're a Republican, you must be an Epstein child molester. No, that's fucking stupid. I've known plenty of family men and women and kids and great families that have been registered to the Republican Party for a very long time in Texas. I've known many God-fearing men, Christian men who aren't super political, but they certainly consider themselves Republican to a degree, or conservative to a degree, I should say. But it's like, we can't pretend things aren't real, right? Just because one side has a narrative and the other side has a narrative, we can't pretend that there aren't actual things that happen in the middle, right? It's just, so it's like this. Not all people on the left have the same idea about the trans issue, right? Just like not all people on the right have the same feelings about women, right? That you can't hold them all to being Nick Fuentes, just like you can't hold them all to being Hassan, right? The right isn't just Nick Fuentes. The left isn't just Hassan. There are so many. This is a spectrum. I know you hate that word, a lot of you, but it is. It's a spectrum. Politics is a spectrum. I don't consider myself Republican or Democrat because more uneducated people have gotten into the space and have made those words mean something they don't, right? Like communism, social democrats, liberal, conservative, Republican, white nationalist, Christian nationalist. All these words mean something, like really mean something in the dictionary. And all of them have been utilized in a certain way throughout the last 50 years, maybe 100. But then today, as we exist in this media space, they mean something completely different. Damn. Riley just stuck him, bro. Kamikaze getting fucking lit up. Oh, nice. Oh my God. Yo, he's fucking dismantling this dude. Oh, they stopped it. Yeah, he's out. That was a good stoppage. Sometimes it's better to stop it when they're still on their feet because those guys don't go down. You're just catching brain damage. She's definitely gone off the rails. Candace? Yes, I believe so. Damn, still going. Need me on? I got a window here. No, I'm gonna cut out, Matt. I appreciate you asking though. I just got stuck here watching. I need to pack my shit and leave. They got the we was fucking vibes. And I'm gonna be real. Candace is psycho crazy and low key. That just lets me know the cat. Oh Jesus, god damn it! Why do I just? Oh, wait, I'm gonna read from now on. Okay, this one I'm not gonna read. I'm just gonna put it up. I'm gonna leave that. That one's not bad. I'm just gonna not read it because I read the other one. What kind of rabbit holes do you be going down? You find German rapper docs. This was on Showtime, believe it or not. Okay, like Paramount with Showtime, whatever. This is on Paramount with Showtime. Look, I forgot what it was called. Deso Dog. That's the guy's name. Let me show you right quick. This is him right here. I would tell y'all should go and watch it. It was really, really fucking good. Look, ISIS fighter Dennis Cuthbert, aka Deso Dog, that was his rap name, killed. So Obama targeted him in a drone strike and they killed him, supposedly. Gangster Jihad, Dennis Cuthbert killed fighting in Syria. So he had been in Syria, he had been in a bunch of videos. He was like their main guy. Oh, look, it's called Honey Trap, a true story of love, lies, and the FBI. Directed by Chris Makubel. The film tracks Cuthbert's transformation from a prominent Berlin gangster rapper into a notorious ISIS recruiter, as well as his illicit affair with the FBI translator tasked with infiltrating him. It was actually really good. I had told my dad about it. He was like, what the hell? Do you not remember that story? It just happened like a few years ago or like a decade ago. I was like, nope, don't remember that one a bit. Let me see. That's Joe Johnson. The ultimate goal is all the same, though. Most Abrahamic religions are. Yeah, exactly. It's like, I don't know. You know what I don't like? I'm just going to say this and we'll get out because we lost like half the people when we started talking about this. I'm not lying. We had like, when Abe jumped on, we had like 120 people on, like out of nowhere. We had 20 people before he jumped on, and then we had 120, and we are now about a quarter less than that since we started talking about this. But also, there are some people that the retention time is way up, like way up. So, you know, some people like it, some people don't. But I'm just going to say this. Agreed. Right? Abrahamic religions would suggest that we all are appealing to the same God or the same creator or the same entity. I think there's something endearing about all the religions, or at least the main four. And in all of them, there's something beautiful. What isn't beautiful is sometimes the people tasked with, I think what they think they're doing is defending their religion, but oftentimes it comes out as if they're antagonizing or trying to hurt the other one, right? And nobody is like, I'm not pointing a finger at any one religion. They all do this, right? There is a narrative. If your entire political drive or social drive is to eradicate the United States of Israel influence, or even if your idea is to go further and stop all Jewish influence and I don't even know what that would mean, first of all. But if that was your main goal, right, you'd have a really, really hard problem expelling that because there's no basis for certain things as it relates to the religion, right? So then how do you get people to turn on them? Well, you focus on the ugliest aspects, right? And so many people will come out and do you know what they say about Jesus? And this would be like people that are anti, Jewish. Like, oh, do you know where they say he is right now? Do you know what they, and then you talk to like Jewish people and they're like, yeah, that was news to me until somebody who's not Jewish told me about it. And it's like, maybe that was a thing that was put in. Maybe it isn't. Whatever. Maybe it's mistranslated. Maybe it's not. But at the end of the day, what it certainly is not reflective of the current magistrate or the current parameters of Judaism, right? And so it's like the same thing, Islam, right? They're like, oh, Sharia law, Sharia law, Sharia law. Do you know what Sharia means? Do you know what Sharia law means? Because a literal translation is something you couldn't possibly be afraid of. So then you have to have like Janine Shapiro come out and be like, they're cutting off your hands and they're molesting their wieners. And it's like, wait, what? What are they doing? I don't think you're right about that. My name is Mario Munguia, and Bret Hart is the most overrated wrestler of all time. I didn't say that once. He's the most underrated. No, he's not. He is underrated, though. He probably saved WWE from the WCW takeover, and people don't give him that credit. You need a disclaimer like Ness has. What's the disclaimer that Ness has? Oh, you're talking about the very beginning, the one that's like the voices, blah blah. Yeah, I should get that. You're right. Good call. I think I'll have what's their the AI thing make me one. Shout out to those who stuck around. No, you did not clip it. Stop it. God damn it. Did you clip it? Don't do it. Don't do it. Listen, you can clip me saying something gay. How about that? How about I'll say something accidentally gay. You put it on there and I'll be like, nope, not going to give it to you for free. And then you could use that. Don't use the Bret Hart thing, because I could maybe get him on the show one day, right? And if he sees me say that, then that's not going to work. Oh, this is hilarious. Oh, the Poly Market thing. I wish I would have recorded it. Oh, I could rewind it. This is like the Thor thing. The Thor thing. Why did I say it that way? Look at him. It's big fat Connor, like Thor. It looks hilarious. Let me tell you what the context is. Oh, wait, here it is. Rip. That was fun. I liked it. Anyway, guys, we're getting out of here. 6:30. I got to get back to the fight. Remember, the prelims on right now, but they will be live at 8 o'clock, right? Whatever. We'll be live. Make sure you hit the sub. Make sure you hit the follow. And I will be there. Hello? Okay, bye. All right, there's my niece. So that's for me to cut out. Infight FX, you can watch us on YouTube, X, Twitch, and on IG. It's at Mario Munguia. We'll be live on all of them, TikTok as well. So make sure you tap in. Shout out to Abe. Shout out to Matt Machine Gun. Shout out to Super Mech. Shout out to Alex. Shout out to Khan and Jeremy, who were on the other side of IG. Appreciate you guys watching. And yeah, until tonight, peace.